Alright, hello, it is your boy Gomi, and I am excited because it is UFC 284, and I'm going to be covering the card through the next week, and this is the card I am most excited for. I love this fight. I love this, no, I don't want to say I love this card, but I love this fight. Islam Makhachev versus Alexander Volkanovski, going to go for the title of pound for pound #1, title of the champion of the marquee division in the UFC right now, the lightweight division, and they're going for all the marvels. It's going to be in Alexander Volkanovski's backyard. Islam Makhachev is going to be the one challenging him. It's just pure hype, absolutely hype, and the UFC is doing an awful job of promoting it. Yeah, I've been absolutely deplored, absolutely beyond disappointed with the UFC's coverage of this colossal super fight. This should be the most promoted event, but I'm seeing more promotion about Conor McGregor versus Michael Chandler Tough. I'm seeing more promotion about the return of John Jones. Now, first getting into it, a lot of people don't like the idea of Islam Makhachev being the #1 pound for pound. To that end, I say, who else would it be in terms of #2 or whatever? Because a lot of people look at Islam Makhachev and say, oh, he's barely fought anyone, he got jumped up to the title. Well, here's the thing, he fought Arman Tsarukyan and Charles Oliveira in the top 10. That is right there, right first and foremost. Those are probably the two best wins you could have in the lightweight division. Next, the only person that could be better is Dustin Poirier and Hafez Fiziev. I'm sorry, and Beneil, forgive me. But like, other than that, there's not really better wins in the lightweight division. So he beat the best guys he could get. He beat Charles Oliveira, who beat Dustin Poirier, Justin Gaethje, and Michael Chandler. Like, I don't know what more you want from him. He dominated Charles Oliveira too. This fight is extremely deserving for Islam to be the champion and be in the pound for pound. And this is an extremely deserving fight for pound #1 because this right here. Alexander Volkanovski, the UFC champ, the featherweight champion, #1 pound for pound fighter, is on a 12-fight UFC win streak. The longest active win streak in the UFC. 15 career wins by finishes. Only 1 loss in his career. And in his last fight, he beat a former UFC champion. Islam Makhachev, UFC lightweight champion, the most premier division in the sport right now. #2 pound for pound. He has an 11-fight win streak, the second longest active win streak in the UFC. 15 career wins by finishes, only 1 loss in his career. Beat a former UFC champion's last fight. Islam, Volko, they deserve this. This is the best in the UFC right now. This is the true #1 pound for pound fight. Get that bullshizer out there saying this shouldn't be pound for pound. Who else are you going to put there for pound 1 and 2? Sorry, it's these two. Now, let's get into tail tape. And also, you can see I got a nice little neat graphic. I changed up my graphics just a little bit, just so we could distinguish that this is a championship fight. So I got this cool black and gold background. Now, this is going to be the lightweight title fight, champ versus champ. We're going to have the champion Islam Makhachev defending his title against Volkanovski. Islam Makhachev is going to be 31 years of age, a record of 23 wins and 1 loss, 4 knockouts, 11 submissions. So a lot of people think, oh, Islam's boring, he just gets finishes, yada yada yada. He has more than half his wins are finishes. I mean, he only gets decisions. Sorry, people keep saying he's just a decision king. He's a finisher. He is absolutely a finisher. And in fact, of his last fights, the last decision Islam Makhachev had, by the way guys, the last decision he had was 3 years ago in 2019. That was his last decision. And then in the UFC, he's only had four decisions in the UFC. Everything else is finishes. I don't know why people are hating on Islam, saying he's boring. You haven't watched. If you're saying Islam is boring, either you don't like submissions, which then again, people love Charles Oliveira and say he's the most exciting fighter, even though he's all submissions. Either you don't like submissions or you just don't like him because he's related to Khabib. Simple as that. He's going to be 5'10 in terms of height. He's going to have the height advantage. He's going to be southpaw, which is interesting for Dagestani wrestlers. He's going to be have a 70.5-inch reach disadvantage actually over Volkanovski. Volko has a very good, like very high reach overall, I've noticed. He has a 3.42 takedown average, a significant strike accuracy of 72.16%. And we're going to be getting into that in a second. He's going to be a negative 380 favorite, which that I feel is a little bit outrageous. And he has significant wins over Charles Oliveira, Drew Dober, Dan Hooker, and Arman Tsarukyan. Actually good wins. Hooker, yeah, he's a little bit of a ghost of what he once was. Charles Oliveira is an amazing win. Drew Dober is actually aging very well as a win. Drew Dober is on a 3-fight win streak, and he fought some pretty good guys in the form of Terrence McKinney and Bobby Green. He's pretty decent, I'm not gonna lie. And then Arman Tsarukyan is a very good up-and-comer. He is a future title contender, mark my words. Setting across from him is going to be the #1 pound-for-pound fighter in the UFC, the featherweight champion, Alexander the Great Volkanovski. 34 years of age, record of 25 wins and 1 loss. 12 knockouts, 3 submissions. So one thing to mention about the records is Islam has 1 more knockout than Volkanovski has subs, and Volkanovski has 1 more knockout than Islam Makhachev has subs. They're so evenly matched, so like look at their stats mirroring a lot of each other. So Volkanovski's gonna be 5'6" in terms of height, shorter guy. He is fighting on the orthodox stance, 71.5-inch reach advantage, 1.71 takedown average, 58.60% significant strike accuracy, and he is a plus 300 underdog. That's borderline not acceptable in my opinion. Borderline unacceptable. Volkanovski should never be that heavy of an underdog. I think he should be an underdog, but Jesus Christ, you guys are insane. He has significant wins over Max Holloway 3 times, Brian Ortega, Chad Mendes, and Jose Aldo, but he also has a few more ones that are worthy of mentioning, but I just kept it to those because those are probably the most relevant ones. Islam Makhachev. First thing I want to go about Islam Makhachev. The thing that I need to stress to you so significantly and so heavily that people are glossing over. People are saying, oh, Volko beats him in striking. Volko is a way better striker. He has no chance in the striking department. Yes, Volko is a better striker, but not by the significant margin you think. I brought this up in my breakdown of his fight against Charles Oliveira. This is Islam Makhachev's stats. He has a 67% significant strike accuracy. He takes 0.95 significant strikes absorbed per minute. Less than 1 significant strike a minute he takes. And he has, as you see by my breakdown, a 72.16% significant strike accuracy. That is insane. 58 for Volko is very good. 72 is insane. He is pure accuracy. And now I know what you're going to say. Oh, those significant strikes, that's all ground strikes. He just gets the person on the ground and he just strikes with them up. He just hits them on the ground. That's why he doesn't miss. That's not saying stuff. No. Only 34% of his strikes, significant strikes, are on the ground. 55 in the clinch, 130 standing, 46, 20. What percentage is that? 66. He is more than 66%, more than half of his significant strikes are standing. Islam Makhachev is a very deceptive striker. DC went on about it. Javier Mendez went on about it. People keep thinking Islam's just a wrestler. He just had amazing wrestling coming into UFC. No, coming into MMA. And then he's just been honing his striking. I almost think that he maybe does wrestling maybe like once a week, and then everything else is probably just striking, because his striking is very good. There's some sloppiness to it, but overall very good. How did he beat Charles Oliveira? He submitted him. What set up that submission? His striking. He outstruck Charles Oliveira, because while Charles Oliveira had better offense, his offense wasn't as good as Islam Makhachev's defense. Exactly what I said in my breakdown video for that. we saw that he just kept clipping him. Islam just kept clipping Charles Oliveira, and it came to a point where he just couldn't take it anymore. He got that submission set off, him punishing a sloppy knee with a beautiful check right hook that Oliveira just didn't see coming. Oliveira does also struggle with southpaws, a.e. his fight against Dustin. But just got him with that right hook he wasn't seeing coming, dropped him. And then when his bell was rung, he didn't have the confident ability to defend against the submissions, because when Islam was on top of him and had top position earlier in the fight, against, of course, I'm talking about Oliveira still. When he had top position, he couldn't break through Oliveira's guard because Oliveira still had wits about him. Well, guess what? When you're rocked, you don't have your wits about you, and you have a strong guy like Islam Makhachev holding you in that head and arm choke, you're going to tap. Did you see how many times Charles Oliveira tapped? So don't go underestimating his striking, and I hope Volko isn't. I know Volko is a very, very smart fighter. I hope he's not underestimating that. Islam Makhachev is a very tricky left high kick as well too. He has a very tricky left high kick that I could see doing really good wonders against a shorter fighter like Volkanovski. But make no mistake, he is a submission guy, and he's extremely proficient with his grappling and going for submissions. He does not go for ground and pound like Khabib really did, because Khabib focused a lot more on ground and pound his opponents. He wanted to get him to the ground and beat them up and get TKOs via that. Islam Makhachev takes them down to the ground and he looks to submit them. And he has a very wide array of submissions as well too. His best is going to be probably the head and arm triangle choke, but he has lots of different ones that he goes to. Like he has the Kimura he had against Hooker, Dober, I believe he also had the head and arm triangle, but that's a major skill for him. Now for Alexander Volkanovski, what are his keys? Because I do think he has plenty of keys to winning. Yes, to striking, but with his striking, he needs to keep it distant. He needs to go for distant strikes. He's also very accurate, as you can see by his accuracy rating that you have on there, and he lands a lot. He is a volume striker. He throws a lot. Not a ton of power to him. I'm not gonna say he's pillow-handed. He does have knockouts, 12 wins by knockouts, as you can see there, but he doesn't hit super hard. People who think he has straight pillow hands forgot that he fought against Max Holloway. Max Holloway has never been dropped, not once in his entire career. The only person who came close was Dustin. And then he also fought against Brian Ortega. Brian Ortega is a zombie. Look at his fight against Max. And then Holloway again. Aldo survived. I'm surprised Aldo survived. But when you have Volkanovski fighting against a person with a normal chin, a normal human being, he's able to knock him out. I.e. his fight against TKZ. I.e. his fight against Chad Mendes. Where the heck is he? He's able to knock these guys out. But is he knocking out Islam Makhachev? People are going to lean to that. Oh, remember when Islam got flatline KO'd? As I stated, he's a different fighter. He took those very, very vicious up kicks from Charles Oliveira, and he didn't even flinch. Granted, that was really the only thing that Oliveira really landed on him, unfortunately. So I can't really pull a lot of data from that. But Volkanovski's a lot more tricky. He doesn't switch stance very often, but he can do that. He can give him some trouble if Islam is not really used to fighting orthodox fighters, because he does fight quite a bit of southpaws, I believe. I can't remember if Bobby Green is a southpaw, but I know Dober is, and I'm almost certain that Sadiukin is. And Islam's very good at handling them. I don't know how well he is going to be handling orthodox fighters overall. Yes, he took out one from Oliveira very easily, but Oliveira doesn't have the same striking defense acumen that Alexander Volkanovski has, which is going to be his major benefit or high aspect that's going to allow him to survive in this fight. And one thing I'm going to mention too, Alexander Volkanovski and his extreme resilience overall, but his extreme resilience when it comes towards submissions. Oh, I don't have Ortega pulled up. Oh no. But one thing I'd like to mention is going to be his fight against Brian Ortega, in which Brian Ortega had him in a beautiful mounted guillotine and a beautiful triangle choke. Both those were submissions that should have absolutely finished anybody else in the UFC almost. Maybe save for like 3 people, I'd say, wouldn't have gotten submitted by them. Volko survived. He survived, and he tired out Ortega's arms, which is something I can see Islam doing. But the reason why those didn't work was his neck. He has a tough neck, and he's also not going to tap. He knows that, like, chokes, I don't think you should ever tap from a like choke when it's on your neck, because as long as you stay competent, their arms will or legs will gas out. If it's an appendage, that's when I feel there's danger, and I think Volkanovski realizes that, because anyone else, like you saw, his head was purple when he was fighting Ortega. He did not tap. He did not. I don't think he'll tap if Islam gets him in one of those chokes, and I feel Islam could burn his arms out, and then Volkanovski could get top position, or I feel he could get back to feet and then beat up a tired Islam Makhachev. That's absolutely a possibility. So Islam Makhachev, his main thing, get it to the ground, go for submissions, but go for the appendages. Go for a Kimura or go for like an arm bar. I feel like those are going to be his best weapons. I don't think heel hooks or leg locks or knee bars are going to be good against Volkanovski with his tree trunk legs. I think his main thing is going to be going for his arms. I think that's his best option for Islam Makhachev. For Volkanovski, it's really surviving and damaging him on the feet. We've seen time and time again now that the UFC is highly valuing damage on the feet over ground control time and being taken down. As long as Volkanovski can survive those submission attempts and do some decent damage on the feet via kicks, hooks. One thing he does really good is his overhand right hand, and he could land that for days. It won't knock out Islam, but I feel Volkanovski could score a easy, I don't want to say easy. I feel like he could score a decision. It'll be hard, but that's what I feel Volkanovski's main avenue for victory is. I don't think he's going to submit him. I'd be shocked. I'd be surprised. I don't think he's going to knock him out, but he can give him a late knockout. I can't see him wearing him out and then just catching him with overhand rights and eventually taking him out. I'm going to lean towards Islam Makhachev, though. I'm going to lean towards Islam Makhachev, but I feel like he won't win that decision. I feel like he's really going to need to focus on getting that submission, and I hope he realizes that he's got to go for a Kimura armbar, and I think he can do that. I think that is a possibility. Overall, I'm just so excited for this fight. I could keep, like, I just looked down briefly at the time. I could just keep going on and on and on about this fight. This is what I want to see from UFC. I love champ fights, and I love highly technical champ fights like this, and I think this is just going to be an amazing fight that I want the UFC to promote more. Please promote this fight more. I mean, it's already kind of too late. Now they started their promotion train with the embedded and countdown episodes, but just this fight should have been talked about weeks ago, in my honest opinion. Weeks ago, months ago. This is the pinnacle of the UFC right here, right now. We have the 2 best fighters in UFC on the #1 and #2 highest freaking win streaks. Look at these finishes. Look, this is what I want to see. And whoever wins this one will cement their legacy. Islam Makhachev jumps up as one of the greatest lightweights of all time. Volkanovski jumps up as, I feel, the greatest featherweight and arguably the greatest fighter of all time. Yes, I say that. Not yet there for Islam Makhachev. He needs to fight more people in his stacked division, which I'm glad he's not looking past welterweight, saying he needs to fight more people in his division. But if Volkanovski wins, greatest fighter of all time. Please let me know what you think in the comment section. Please tell your friends and family about this fight. Please spread more information about this fight. Heck, maybe even spread this video about the fight. But also, I would like to thank each and every single one of you for watching and supporting my videos. We're almost at 100 subscribers. May not seem like a big goal, but it is a big one to me for someone who does this as infrequently as I do. But yes, but most importantly, leave a like, comment what you think about the fight. This has been your boy Gomi. Bye-bye.